essentially.
Do you need the other one tied again?
No, it's good. Oh my god.
Stand here and wait for you guys to get in line. Y'all should not be out all over this hallway, being loud, trying to hit each other.
Some guys come straight to class.
We need to act like we're in 6th grade. The central idea of this paragraph. You can spend your days on the powdered sand, enjoying the warm breeze. The coastline seems to go on forever, and you can walk along the edge with your toes in the water. Children play in the surf and jump over the shallow waves. The beach is a fun place for all ages. So you are going to write on an index card, what is the central idea? more seconds. Alright, who wants to tell me what is the centralized? People who know? 3 people, 4 people, 5 people. William, what is it?
It's about the beach and the river.
Okay, so the beach is a great place. Okay, children go and play at the beach. Wonderful. Harmony. Okay, people like going to the beach and it's a fun place to go swimming. Mason. So what's this sentence that's the central idea? So create that as a sentence for us. That's the central idea. Alright, what is this talking about? Okay, so start out with the beach. Wonderful. The beach is a great place to go. Alright? Anyone else? Pop.
It's about children loving to surf, play, and yeah.
Is that what the whole passage is about?
And it's, I want to say the other thing, it's not that one.
Is that what the whole passage is about?
No.
What is the whole passage about?
The beach.
Okay, the beach. What about the beach?
That people love to play.
Yeah, the beach is a place where people love to go play. All right, last one, Alex.
The beach is fun for all ages.
Good, the beach is fun for all ages. So here's another example. The beach is the best place to be in the summer. Right, the beach is fun for all ages. As long as it's telling you what it's about, so the beach. What about the beach? It's the best place to be in the summer.
I want to do another, movie thing. No.
No. But you are going to think about the last movie you watched, and you're going to talk to people at your table, but instead you're now going to tell me what do you think is the message or lesson in that movie. Right? What did the director or writer want you to think about? So you're going to talk to people at your table. What do you think they wanted you to learn, or what did they want you to think about?
Don't trust strangers. Don't play Oh, I got amazing. What? I'm not saying it. You got, I don't really think that. You can't do that. You have to tell us. It's London. I think it's like, don't make fun of idiots. Yeah. I look funny. I feel funny. I mean, ever seen that? Eva, I'm gonna tell you something. Promise me you won't tell her about it. See? What are you gonna do? post it on YouTube. Are you going to bring it to, what's your related arts? Tech. Yeah, I'm going to put the rest of this video. Turn up. 24, I'm coming this summer. Summer coming. I'm coming to you, Zay. I don't know. I was going to ask. I'm coming to you, Zay. I'm bringing Zay. I'm bringing Zay. You don't even have those passes.
Alright, so let's think about what is the lesson in your movie. Hop, what was your lesson?
My movie was Wonders.
Okay.
And the lesson is don't make fun of people or what they look like.
Yeah, wonder. So don't make fun of others just based on what they look like. Cecilia.
Mine was Slender Man, and it was like to not play with spiritual or like haunted stuff.
Okay, so don't play with things that you know are dangerous.
Yeah.
Right, Chloe. Yeah, never give up, keep trying. Go ahead, Emma. Good, so always make sure you listen to others. William. All right. All right, Autumn. Oh, the It movie, don't trust it. Straight face.
I love strangers. I
I
love
can't hear. There's a lot of talking. Okay, listen to your friends. Cadence. All right, can that be applied? Well, I mean, I guess.
Yeah, because people steal children.
Maybe don't take things that aren't
Yeah,
yours,
don't
that don't belong to you.
child for your mom.
Alright. Allison.
I don't really know this, but okay, I watch lots of parties. But I said, don't drop out of college and stick up for your friends.
Okay, stick up for your friends, never give up. That movie has. Alright, Harmony, last one. I can't hear because other people are talking. Alright.
I think it means that you shouldn't go into places where people get killed. What?
Don't use property.
That's kind of specific to the movie,
Yeah.
right? So, how could we make that movie be about a lesson that we can use for our whole life?
Be careful when you go to your parents.
Okay, be careful when you go to new places. That works. Alright.
Ooh, I have another one.
So, you've just described the theme of a movie. The theme focuses mostly on the deeper meaning, a message, or purpose of the story. Alright? It is usually a statement that people can apply to their own lives in some way. The theme does not talk about who or what. Alright? The theme does not talk about a specific character, does not talk about a specific thing that that character did. It is an overarching lesson that you can apply to your own life. So now I want you to think back to the movie trailer we watched. Alright, think back to Cinderella. What could be a theme of that movie? All right, what could be a lesson of that movie? I want you to talk to your table. You guys have about 2 minutes. Talk to your table.
Yeah, let's do that.
Have 1 more minute.
And the person that
Madeline. Have courage and be kind. Mason. But you said another one. Yeah, treat people the way you want to be treated. Harmony. Okay, never show people disrespect. Asia.
Be the way you are, don't change your personality for somebody else.
Okay, don't change for somebody else. Emma. Yeah, if you want to be treated kindly, you should treat others kindly. Chloe. You should be listening.
believe what you believe in, and this isn't important, but never listen to your stepmother.
Okay, so that's a little specific. So never listen to what? So never listen to what, Cecilia?
Never listen to some people.
Do what's in your gut, not yeah. Do what's in your gut.
Okay, why should she not listen to her stepmother?
Because she was telling her to stay in the room. We ain't going to the ball.
Okay, so how would we describe the stepmother?
Rude, evil,
So maybe never listen to rude people, never listen to negative people. Okay, block out the haters.
Yeah, block
It can be applied to other things. Always. Okay, so that can be applied to more stories, and it can be applied to my life. However, you telling me don't listen to your stepmother, I don't have one of them. So I'm like, I can't apply that to my life. All right. So make sure whenever you're doing a theme, it can be applied to everyone's life. Chloe, last one. Good. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. All right. So here's some examples. Kindness is important. You should persevere. That means you should overcome hardship, and you should never lose hope. on the back of that index card that you guys just did about the beach, you guys are going to write what you think is the theme of this passage. So the passage says, Edward was used to being left out at school. After all, he had been a social outcast since grade 1. This year, he was happy to have finally made one friend. That is why it was so hurtful when he overheard John making fun of him behind his back. The sadness overwhelmed him, and he felt like he was back where he started. Edward wondered if he would ever be happy. What is the theme? What is a lesson you can learn from this passage? Writing it on the back of that index card that you wrote about the beach. What is the theme of this passage? We're going to talk about it. What is a theme that you can learn about this passage? Harmony. Okay, don't bully. What else? Okay. Okay. Okay, don't go behind people's backs and don't what? Don't trust the wrong people. Alright, Chloe? Good, don't talk behind people's backs. Emma? Yeah, don't talk behind your friend's back. William?
Never backstab your friends.
Yeah, don't backstab your friends. Anything else? Isolation is lonely and hurtful, so whenever Edward felt by himself, it was very lonely and it hurt his feelings. It's hurtful to be betrayed by friends, so when John started talking about Edward, hurt his feelings. Friendship is important in life. Remember whenever Edward said he found that one friend and he was happy, right? That's important in life. Those are some themes that you can gather from that passage. So, to recap everything, central idea is the event that the writer communicates. So it tells us the who and the what. How many sentences is a central idea? 2. Yeah, 1 to 2 sentences. It's not longer than that. Because when you start getting longer than that, you're now writing a summary. Those are 2 different things. All right? The theme is the central. Are you listening? The theme is the message that the writer is making. All right, so whatever lesson that the writer wants you to know, that is the theme.
Isn't that what I said?
All right, so let's look up here and see which one of these is right. This first one says there's no difference. They're both the main idea. Is that right? Yes or no?
No.
No. All right, this one says the theme is where the story takes place. The central idea is what the story is about. Is that right? Which one of these is right? Close. The theme is right. It's where the story takes place.
No.
William, which one's right?
The top right one.
And this right here.
Yeah.
Which one of these is right? The theme or central idea?
That. The bar.
Central idea is right. Okay, theme is wrong. This is the correct definition. Theme says message of the story. The central idea is the main idea. Is that right?
Yeah. Theme is right.
Yeah, that's right.
No, right.
This one says central idea is what the story is about. The theme is the place of the story.
Nope.
Yeah, theme's wrong. Central idea is correct. This one says theme is the message the story is telling you, and central idea is the summary of the story.
It's not the summary.
Yeah, it's not the summary. Okay, it's close. So this is about half right. Okay, but it's not the summary. Okay. Yeah, that's the main idea. It tells us the who and what. All right. Any questions about theme and central idea? No. Wonderful. I want you guys to get your Chromebooks out. You're going to go to your Google Classroom. We're going to read an energy passage. Google Classroom, we're going to read an energy passage. I'm going to pass out your all vocabulary inventory that you guys did on, Wednesday. Okay? And on the back are your, we're going to talk about mechanical energy today. So you're going to need to fill in the definition for mechanical energy. So I'm going to pass these back. Get on your Google Classroom and you're looking at that.
Is it science?
It's the Kent second class.
Which one is it, Miss Nicholas? Numbers.
It'll be up.
Like ELA materials?
No.
Nope.
Second class.
Kent second class.
They're allowed to. No, it says. Alright, I had one that didn't have a name, so if you didn't get yours back, raise your hand. And I don't know where yours is, sweetie. Alright, so we're going to read about this energy passage. And then you're going to tell me what is the central idea of this passage. So I'll wait. I don't know where yours is. So we're going to read this energy passage. And then you guys are going to tell me what is the central idea of this passage. Alright, so this is types of energy. There are two forms of energy. One is potential energy, and the other is kinetic energy. Potential energy. Who can tell me what is potential? Only one person remembers? David, what is it? Yeah, it's that stored energy. Potential energy is that stored energy. So it says potential energy is energy that an object has because of its position. It is energy that is stored in an object. The object is not moving, however, it has the. For instance, a rock on top of a hill has potential energy.
Although the rock is not rolling down the hill, it has the potential to. And then it shows us a picture of that rock on top of the hill, the boy about to push it down. Right? The other form of energy is kinetic energy. What's kinetic energy?
When it's moving.
Yeah, when something's moving, it's kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is energy an object has because of its motion or movement. It's when the object is actually going or actually doing some action. The rock sitting on the hill has potential energy. However, when the rock starts to roll down the hill, its potential energy is changed into kinetic energy. What's that fancy thing called that lets us know energy is just changed? It doesn't go away, it's just wonderful. The law of conservation of energy tells us that it's changed into a different type of energy. You've learned of some ways that energy can change from one form to another. However, no matter how energy is changed, the energy does not disappear. No energy is ever lost in the process. No energy is gained in the process either. This idea is an important scientific law. The law of conservation of energy states that although energy may change from one form to another, energy is not created or destroyed. All right, so all of that is just recapping what we learned this week. All right, now we're going to talk about mechanical energy. So on your all's doodle notes, in the middle of your page is mechanical energy. Does everyone see that?
Yeah.
It's right in between kinetic and potential. It's right in the middle. It says mechanical. Does everyone see it? Yeah. All right, we're about to read about mechanical, and then we're going to come up with a definition and example. All right. Mechanical energy is often confused with kinetic and potential energy. We will try to make it very easy to understand and know the difference. Before that, we need to understand the word work. Work is done when a force acts on an object to cause it to move, change shape, displace, or do something physical. For example, if I push a door open for my pet dog to walk in, work is done on the door by causing it to open. But what kind of force caused the door to open? Here's where mechanical energy comes in, all right? So the door opening, me pushing the door open, is a form of mechanical energy. And here's how. Mechanical energy is the sum of kinetic and potential energy in an object that's used to do work. So mechanical energy is something that is causing work to be done. Yeah, like closing your Chromebook. You pushing on the screen to close the Chromebook is work. You're causing that to move. You're causing work to be done. In other words, it's energy in an object due to its motion or position or both. In the open door example above, I possess potential chemical energy, energy stored in me, and by lifting my hands to push the door, my action also had kinetic energy, which is energy in the motion of my hands. By pushing the door, my potential and kinetic energy was transferred into mechanical energy. All right, so me lifting my hand and actually pushing the door, that motion, that work, caused the door to open. Here, the door gains mechanical energy, which caused the door to be displaced temporarily. Note that for work to be done, an object has to supply a force for another object to be displaced. So that just means some force has to cause an object to move temporarily. Okay, here's another example of a boy with an iron hammer and nail. In the illustration below, the number 1 picture, the iron hammer on its own has no kinetic energy. Why doesn't it have kinetic energy?
This is not moving.
Yeah, it's just an object. It can't move on its own. All right, just the same way that David's water bottle. It doesn't have kinetic energy because it's just sitting there. It's just an object. Now, if he were to hit it onto the floor, then it has kinetic energy because he caused that force. He caused that motion. But it has some potential energy because of its weight. It has that potential to move. It has that potential to fall. To drive a nail, this is the picture 2. To drive a nail into the piece of wood, which is work, he has to lift the iron hammer, which increases its potential energy because of its height. The force causes it to great speed downward. Now it has kinetic energy to hit the nail. Is called the mechanical energy, which resulted in the work done. So what is mechanical energy? Talk.
Mechanical energy is, I forgot what I was going to say.
Okay, Chloe. Yeah, it's some kind of force that is causing work to be done. Mechanical energy is when work is being done. What's another example? I would put an example to help you remember. Asia.
Writing on the board to apply force to it.
Yeah, picking up that pencil and writing on the board, that is causing work to be done. Cadence. Yeah, pushing in your chair, that's mechanical energy. Allison. What's another one? Yeah, writing on paper. Chloe. Opening your backpack, so unzipping your backpack. Pop.
Your mouth going up and down?
Yeah, you talking. Closing your Chromebook case whenever you snap it. Last one, Asia. Okay, when you like scroll on your page. All right, when you use your finger to scroll on the page, that is causing work to be done. All right. Any questions about mechanical energy? So you should have the definition in mechanical energy on your notes, and you should have a picture and an example. Nope. On your notes, you are writing the definition of mechanical energy, and you're drawing a picture to help you understand it on your notes. All right? Once you have your notes filled out, I want you to write what is the central idea. So it has to be how many sentences? Yeah, 1 to 2 sentences. What is the central idea of this passage? So what is this passage talking about? You should be writing the central idea on your index card. This is now your exit ticket.
I don't have any of that.
So make sure. What is the central? No, on your index card, you're writing what is the central idea. On your index card, you are answering what is the central idea of this. The central idea. Once you have answered that, make sure your name is on that index card and turn it into the bucket.
Can we do both of them?
What do you mean? No, just the about Cinderella.
Wait, did we? Yeah.
You can keep it. Yeah. No, the one that we did with the presentation. Those are your notes. You're hanging on to those. We're about.
The one we just wrote.
Your bucket's over there. Contemplate.